Welcome to Vegas Circle with Pocky and Chris, and today joining the circle with us at Bottega Exchange, we've got Las Vegas Lights goalie Tommy Olsen, aka TKO, is with us in the building today. Tommy's actually a Las Vegas native. Played for Bishop Gorman, also played for the Under-20 FIFA World Cup team. So we're excited to have him in the circle with us today. So great win. First off, I got to say that first. Great win last night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You grew up in Vegas.
Yep, born and raised, man. My whole life, man. Except with college, I went to University of San Diego, but Vegas through and through, man.
Yeah. How'd you like San Diego? San Diego's wild, man.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. This summer was tough for me. It was so hot, man, and I was like, oh, San Diego. On the beach, too. Pacific Beach for 2 years, living there. You can't really beat that, but, I love home, though. I love home.
Of course, yeah.
Is this your first year back in Las Vegas?
Well, I was here last year, but kind of on and off. Obviously, I had kind of a roller coaster year last year, so I was in Vegas, but I skipped out in the summer part, so I was smart, and so I kind of missed that until this year. I'm like, man, I forgot how bad it is out here, but it's all good.
Yeah, with the 100 to 810, it's brutal. Yeah.
Right.
But if you've been playing like that all your life, don't you get used to that?
I'm definitely used to it. I think it's worse when you're not playing. I think you're just walking around, so you can't do anything. But no, I'm used to it, and luckily you don't have to play on turf, because when you got to play on artificial turf, it's 108. It's pretty bad. So
I was reading about you. You've obviously been inspired by a lot of different people. Who motivated you growing up?
I would say my family in general, just because I come from a really big family. My mom is she's one of 10, and eight of her siblings live in Vegas, and I have about 26 cousins on that side.
Oh, wow.
And they all, pretty much with the exception of 2, they all grew up, born and raised here. So, man, I've been around the big, craziness my whole life, and had a few older cousins play soccer, and our family loves sports, so it's something I always look to do, and obviously I kept going with soccer, and so I think they drive me the most, honestly.
Yeah. And I was reading, man, your grandfather, man. I didn't know that was your grandfather.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gerald Higgins, man, that's UNLV. I mean, that's legendary.
Yeah. Old
that's
school, man. It's
40 years?
40 years, man. 40 years, and he did pretty much till the day he died. So he loved UNLV. He loves sports in general. Huge Notre Dame fan. He went to college at Notre Dame. So now he started this whole crazy train, man, and definitely my idol for sure, my grandfather.
And he was close with Jerry Tarkanian, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was the doctor right around, through that whole period, obviously, with the basketball team and the football team. So him and Jerry go back, and I actually ended up playing for Jerry's son, George. He was my coach growing up, so there's definitely ties in there, and I'm good friends with George's son, Alex. So, there's a lot of ties between the two families, for sure.
That's cool, man. When did you actually pick up a soccer ball?
Started with basketball, but soccer probably really got into it like 8 or 9. Then around 10, 11, you start playing like club, and it grows from there. So, a while for sure. I put in my time for sure.
I definitely figured you were a hooper for sure. With 6'3".
Yeah,
I see you.
Absolutely. Even till pretty much my senior year of high school, I was playing. So basketball was my first love, actually.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you.
I don't think I'd be the same player without playing all these different sports, and playing soccer helped me with basketball, and vice versa. So, I definitely love basketball. Still watch to this day.
So when did you know you wanted to go full into soccer and kind of go away from the basketball?
Well, I figured, okay, where am I gonna play professionally? Luckily I went to Gorman, right?
Yeah.
And I was around, professionals all over the place. So
of course,
I knew pretty quick. I was a decent basketball player. I'm 6'3", but if you're 6'3", you better be a light out shooter or fast. And neither one was my thing. It's more the athlete, but that's why I love Gorman, man, because I was playing with Shabazz Muhammad and Ronnie Stanley and guys like that. I'm like, okay, that's the pinnacle. So, and soccer I was more the top of the cream of the crop there, so stuck with soccer, man.
You actually selected for the Under-20 team, huh? So you played FIFA World Cup?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Actually, my first call-up was pretty much when I was 20. I was at University of San Diego, coming off a big freshman year, and I got called to a camp in, I think it was March. It was like an England camp, just we trained for a week over in England. We had 2 friendlies. We played Tottenham, who's an EPL team out there. They're one of their reserve teams. And then we played England under-21s. So went to that camp, did well, and then, later that year got a call to, come to the World Cup and go to New Zealand, and that's where the World Cup was. Went to Australia as well. So definitely exciting moment, and definitely changed everything for me, man. That opened a lot of doors, and that's probably when professional really became like a thing after that. Because, you know, I was pretty much the only college guy on the team, and you're around guys that are younger than you and playing professional and all these teams and over in Europe. So it's a wake up call, but it was fun, man. That's definitely the greatest soccer moment I've had so far. So.
Especially playing in England.
Yeah,
England is like that's the
dude. Change
the
honestly,
mecca,
change the way I look at soccer, and you know, because growing up in Vegas, you know, it's not. We have good soccer talent here, but it's not huge. It's not Southern California, so it's different. Your view is different. Then you go to college, and it's a little different. Obviously, it progressed, but man, going over there and training at the Tottenham facility, and then end up playing England U-21, who has, you know, they have studs now that are playing for the full team. I think the goalie for England now is Jordan Pickford, and we played against him when he was 21 at the time. So you know, you're around world class talent, and I remember we played in Plymouth, England, and we played at Plymouth Argyle was the stadium, and it holds like 25,000 people, and that thing was cramped just for our game. USA under 21, you know, have a few guys I know, but England U-21, I mean, it was buzzing in there, and I was just
talking
like,
crazy.
I'm just like, and I didn't actually play in that game. I was backup, but dude, just that was my first taste of it, and I was just like, okay.
Playing for the Lights, which is awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's a good energy there. What's that experience like?
Oh man, talk about a roller coaster, man. It's been I was drafted last year by Rapids, and was there for a little, like 3 months, and ended up getting released and ended up signing home, which was a dream come true. The problem was I missed all preseason. I even missed like the first 5 games of the season because I was still with Colorado. But last year was definitely, it was interesting. I also went on loan last year to Sacramento Republic for about 2 months, which was probably the best thing that happened to me last year too, because just got a fresh start, you know, was able to play a few games out there, and you know, just kind of revive, you know, my energy. And like I said, I came back in last 5 games of the season, played for the Lights, and obviously did well. And yeah, this year's been great. I mean, obviously been given the keys to do, you know, a lot more things in the community, and get my name out there. Branding,
Yeah, of course.
TKO is taking off. You know, the Mayor of Cashman.
I was just about to say
that was all Eric, by the way.
Yeah.
He started that. The first press conference, he said that. I was just like, oh.
That's beautiful though.
No,
It
dude.
rings.
Like I said, I've been enjoying it. Obviously, every time I step on the field in Vegas is special to me, and you know, I have most of the time, you know, 15 to 20 family members there, and you know, friends and stuff. So it's you know, couldn't have worked out better. Honestly, I'm super happy about it.
With Las Vegas becoming such a sports town now, with like football coming here and basketball talks and baseball talks, and where do you think soccer kind of falls in that mix?
Oh man, hey, look at our attendance, man. People like soccer out here. There's no question. I mean, I was giving us a hard time on the midweek game, but you know, we played some midweek games this year and had great crowds, and it's pretty good, because you go to some of these other USL teams, and not to talk smack, but they're not getting the same crowds we are.
I think it's because like Las Vegas is so thirsty for that kind of competition.
I think so, man. I don't know. I think there's always been a huge soccer specific crowd in Vegas. And I think obviously with the Knights, that whole thing exploded, the whole thing. Now everyone's like, all right, let's go to Vegas. Let's open this team. Let's open that team. So, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to the Knights for sports in general. I mean, it's changed the whole Vegas landscape, and now we're obviously getting the Raiders. So I think MLS is right there, and obviously NBA one day for sure. So now it's an exciting time for Vegas, man.
Yeah, and the Aviators do well too.
Yeah.
So it's just
Aviators
it's a lot
and the
going on.
Aces are they playing
Aces,
right now, or?
I think they're playing. I think they are playing right now. Yeah, today. Yeah.
We gotta check on that.
We're a real sports town, that's for sure.
It's
it's pretty wild. Yeah, Aviators did well too. I went to one of the playoff games.
So, I mean, both Chris and I are both from the Midwest, and it's fun because when you go to certain cities, you know, you got sports arenas everywhere. So it's just so cool seeing that now in Vegas. You know, it's just great.
It's definitely changed the. I think it's changing Vegas too. It's making it more of a community, or at least showing the community that was already here.
It's giving us our culture.
How do you deal with the pressure, man, of playing in front of the crowds and performing and making sure you're on point?
Oh man, I think it's that's something. I mean, even when I was playing in college and there was 4,000 or 5,000 people there, I think you just learn to. That's what makes it fun, man. That's why I play, really, for days like that. So when I look at it, I'm like, there's no reason to be nervous, man. It's like, this is what you work for. This is the fun part.
Yep.
You know, all the other days of the week where you're just training and, you know, it's kind of whatever. And, you know, don't tell my coach I said that, but it's whatever.
You're kind of like, you become attached to that feeling. That's why you chose to be a goalie, because you're like on an island by yourself almost. And
It's true. Goalkeepers, you have to grow up with that position, man. You have to figure that out. That's not and that's why I give a lot of love to goalkeepers in all sports, man. Whether it's hockey, soccer, whatever. You have to you mature with it, man, because it's a mind game more than anything. It's a lot of people can do the the mechanics of goalkeeping physically, but the mind part is something I think people overlook for sure.
If there's any team that you could play for, who would you want to play for?
Like anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I grew up a big Man United fan, but man, I would probably say Real Madrid or Barcelona. Maybe Barcelona, because I actually went to Barcelona for a family vacation last off season.
Okay.
Went out to the new camp and saw all Messi's Ballon d'Ors and all this stuff, and man, what a beautiful city and a beautiful place to play. That's I don't think it gets better than that.
Yeah.
Putting on that kit in front of that many.
Yes. What about your personal brand and building? Because you're starting to build up this TKO. You start to build up the Mayor of Cashman and all these good names. And
no, man, I think it's almost non-intentional. Really, when it started, I didn't think about it, but then I was like, okay. I started thinking. Obviously, when you're just trying to get on a team, you're not thinking about the business side of it, the brand side of it. But when it starts to carry on, and people are saying TKO, and people are saying Mayor of Cashman, and it's funny to me, but
especially from here.
But hey, look, you see all my posts on Instagram or anything, it's all TKO this, TKO that, like, and someone would call me the mayor, but I'll repost that, man. Yeah. So hey, it's one way or another getting your name out there, man. I'm all for it, and it's been fun to see that because I haven't really been around that. So, and my teammates give me a lot of grief too. But I love it. I'm like, hey, where are your guys' names, man? where are your nicknames?
Absolutely. What do you like about Las Vegas just in general?
It's different. There's no place like Vegas. I mean, and every time, even when I was growing up, I remember you go out of town and people are like, you're from Vegas? And you have to explain it. And it's only now, since the Knights came here and all this, people are like, oh man, there's a whole community there. There's a whole city there. And I've been trying to tell people that for years, man, even before all that. So it's different. There's nothing like this. So
at all.
It's I think that's what I love about it, and it has its own feel, and I'm proud to say I'm from here, and say it's a crazy place to come. It's always a good time, but there's more to it. So
what do you do for fun, especially because you're from here, so you've seen everything, so it's like nothing.
Is this going on the podcast?
Yeah, of course. We can cut it off. Yeah.
No, I think it's different when you're from here, right? You're not doing all the craziness. We definitely have a few guys who've their downtime they've hit the strip plenty of times. I don't blame them. That's what all about Vegas. But no, like I said, I have a huge family, and through that family, very connected with a lot of friends. So anytime I get to hang out with friends, whether it's going downtown, usually Fremont. We'll go down to Fremont. After a win on Saturday.
So you're a local.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Oh yeah. Exactly. No, but that's I think it's a more local spot. Sometimes we go to the strip and go to the day clubs or whatever, but it's a little more crazy. You got to be mentally prepared for that for sure. So,
quick question, out of curiosity, because you do see a lot of more homegrown talent here. Like you say, you export to different locations. Now you can kind of stay here. What do you think it is specific about Las Vegas that actually can grow that talent and make people successful and become professional?
It's funny. I actually was wondering that the other day because I was looking at not just soccer obviously, but I was looking at obviously my experiences at Gorman. But there's plenty of other, kids that came from different high schools. But from my experience, I'm looking, I'm like, where'd all these guys come from, man?
There's a lot.
And I grew up playing with a lot of them, but a lot of them I also was like, man, you were here the whole time? And, some guys move in late and all this stuff, but it's, I was wondering why Vegas is producing so many good athletes. You look at baseball, man. Taking over baseball, Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Joey Gallo, those baseball starting off, and you got basketball. My boy Ronnie Stanley at the Ravens right now, just killing it. And I'm like, where'd you guys come from, man? And I knew Ronnie growing up playing basketball, but it seems like there's more and more and more.
Can you give out kind of shout out some of your Instagrams and your social media where people can reach you at?
Yeah. So on Instagram it's Tommy K Olsen, Olsen, and then on Twitter I'm Tommy K Olsen 1. So hit me up. Follow me.
Awesome.
For
Well,
sure,
we appreciate
for
you
sure.
hanging out with us at Bottega Exchange, and you'll see your interview at thevegascircle.com. So appreciate you, Sonny.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tommy.